Some of the most famous songs mention people who by all means should be famous themselves, thanks to the association that they have with the song. Yet for some reason, they are not. Here is a list in no particular order of some of the more interesting stories behind the real people in popular songs. In May 1995, English band Pulp released Common People as their lead single off their fifth studio album Different Class. The song critiques gentrification as well as the rise of middle-class people wanting to act like common people as a form of class tourism. Frontman Jarvis Cocker found his inspiration from the song whilst he was at Central St Martin's College in London. I'd met the girl from the song many years before when I was at St Martin's College. I'd met her on a sculpture course, but at St Martin's you did this thing called a crossover fortnight, where you had to do another discipline for a couple of weeks. I was studying film, and she might have been doing painting, but we both decided to do sculpture for 2 weeks. I don't know her name, it would have been around 1988, so it was already ancient history when I wrote about her. In a BBC documentary from 2006, them, along with Jarvis Cocker, tried to track her down, but failed to find anyone who resembled her. In 2015, the Greek newspaper Athens Voice stated that the mystery woman may be Danae Stratou, who was the wife of former Greek finance minister. She studied fine arts at St Martin's College between the years of 1983 and 1988. However, according to the newspaper Tanu, Stratou in a text message wrote, "I think the only one who knows who he wrote the song for is Jarvis himself." To add more confusion, in 2012 a Greek woman by the name of Katerina Kanna, who also studied at St Martin's College, said the song was about her, saying, quote, "We spent an evening together, drinking and talking. It was amazing, and suddenly in the middle of the conversation I said to him, I want to live like common people." Jarvis has not commented on this specific claim. In May 2006, American band Plain White T's released the song Hey There Delilah. The song became a sleeper hit and a year later became the band's first and only #1. The Delilah that the song depicts is real. Her name is Delilah DeCrenzo. She's a professional American distance runner. She was a friend of a friend who was invited to one of the band's gigs.
So when we dropped her off that night, I gave her our CD that we had out at the time. And I was like, I've got a song about you. And she's like, oh, cool, whatever. And she left. And that was my brilliant line, right? And so then she went back to school in New York the next day. And we kept in touch a little bit on R.E.M. She was like loving the CD that I gave her of my songs, our album before the one with Hey There Delilah, obviously. And she was like, she kept asking me, so where's my song? When do I get to hear my song? And it was always just super innocent, but it was just gave me that little dose of like inspiration that I needed. It was like, oh damn, I guess I do have to write this song for her, I do have to write her a song. And so that's kind of it. And so the first couple lines of the song came out of me really quick and easily. What's it like in New York City? Tonight you look so pretty, And then after I got past like that first verse, I was like, well, that pretty much sums up everything I know about this girl.
Delilah was actually invited to the Grammys with the band and, ultimately really struggled to deal with the popularity of the song, going on to say, "When I'm at the gym, it's playing. When I'm at the pool, it's playing. Part of me wants to scream at the top of my lungs that it's about me. Another part of me wants to cower and say that it's not. It was so beautifully written. There was this pressure to live up to this ideal. I didn't know how to be polite, but ditch him." Released in 2007, Brianstorm was one of the more popular singles by the band, the Arctic Monkeys, and was chosen to be the opening track on the band's second album, Favourite Worst Nightmare. The man that the song is about met the band in their backstage dressing room for one of their gigs in Osaka, Japan. They go on to explain in an interview, "When he left the room, we were a bit freaked out by his presence, so we did a brainstorm for what he was like, drew a little picture and wrote things about him. He was right weird. He just appeared with like a business card and like a round neck t-shirt and tie loosely tied around it. I'd never seen that before. It felt like he was trying to get inside your mind. We were checking out his attire. It freaked us out. He definitely left a mark on us. He might have been a magician. He might even be here now. But if we ever find out who he was, it might spoil it." What's the Frequency Kenneth is a song from American band R.E.M. It was released in 1994 for their 9th album, Monster. However, the fascinating unsolved attack that inspired the name happened 8 years prior, in 1986 New York. Dan Rather, who was at the time an evening news anchor for CBS, was walking home along Park Avenue to his apartment. He was being followed by 2 men. Dan was attacked whilst being repeatedly asked, "Kenneth, what is the frequency?" Nothing was stolen from him, so it had to be more than just a mugging. Now obviously Dan Rather is not named Kenneth, and this case remained a mystery for many years, despite the fact that the question directed at this unknown Kenneth seemed to take off in popularity through pop culture. However, the case was one step closer to finally being solved when one of the 2 original attackers went on to kill someone. On the 31st of August 1994, 8 years after the original attack against Dan, Campbell Montgomery, who worked behind the scenes of NBC, was shot and killed outside of the Today studios. Later that day, the killer was arrested, and we eventually got our answer to the question why Dan was asked what the frequency was. Essentially, he believed that the news media were sending signals to his brain. He believed that if he found out the frequency, he would be able to block them going to his head. On September 29, 2003, one of the biggest songs was released to the world, that being the Killer's smash hit, Mr. Brightside. It took a while to pick up steam, but when it did, it became an unstoppable success. It is this part to me that makes the true story so interesting. The girl that the song was about is frontman Brandon Flowers' ex-girlfriend, and the jealousy he felt when he saw that she was cheating on him. Whilst being interviewed for the Killer's Day and Age book, he said, "It was painful, and I really felt like I was going to die. I was asleep and I knew something was wrong. I had these instincts. I went to the Crown and Anchor and my girlfriend was there with another guy. I guess I should have done something, but I'm not a violent person, but it really affected me. I would physically throw up. Jealousy is a terrible, terrible experience." The song Mr. Brightside has been so successful that in the UK it's been in the charts for 260 weeks, that's almost 5 full years and more than any other song. In fact, no other song even comes close. I wonder how many times Brandon's ex has listened to this song before. I wonder if she's even told anyone that she's the inspiration. I think that's what makes these stories so interesting, the fact that they're just about real people. And in the case of common people, people that the band themselves can't point out. Thanks for watching.